Today in this 2008 Honda Fit, we're going to install part number BX2252 from Blue Ox. All right, let's go ahead and start off by opening the hood. To start off, we're going to go ahead and get our vehicle ready to install our base plate. To do that, this entire bumper fascia is going to have to come off. We're going to start off by removing these 4 push pins. We'll use a screwdriver to pop the center up, and sometimes you can use it to pull out the rest of the rivet. Sometimes it's a little bit tighter fit than that, so a trim panel tool comes in handy. Okay, we'll go ahead and turn our attention to the fender well here. We're looking at the driver's side, and we turn the wheel out of the way so we get better access to this fastener right here. Now let's go over to the passenger side and do the same thing. Now we'll go underneath the car and we'll go ahead and remove a few push pins on each side. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then there'll be 2 in the center, and then 1, 2, 3 on the other side. Now this vehicle has fog lights in the front, so we need to go ahead and disconnect the electrical for that. We'll go ahead and pull back the inner fender well liner, and you see the little connection point just below the green square. And a small tab right here that you have to push down to release it. All right, we're done for driver's side. We'll go ahead and turn the wheels and do the same thing on the passenger side. At this point, we can go ahead and remove our fascia. We'll have to pull out the corner by the wheel well out and away to loosen up, and then we should be able to pull it straight off. Now you will have to work it back and forth a little bit to release from all the alignment pins and clips. There's a series of clips underneath here too. You just got to keep working until it pops loose. Now it's a good idea to have an extra set of hands to help support one end while you work with the other end. We'll go ahead and take our fascia and put it out of the way. With bumper cover set out of the way, we'll go ahead and remove the styrofoam. This will go back in. Now our next step is go ahead and remove the bumper structure. This will go back in place as well. So there's a bolt on the side here, and then there's one on top here. Okay, one in the middle, one in the center again, on the driver's side, and just one on the top. And there's nothing on the side on this one. We'll use a 12mm socket to remove the bolts. Okay, we'll leave that bolt in place to help hold it up for us. Got a little catch right here to help hold it in place. Let's go ahead and take our last bolt out. And we can go ahead and remove it. All right, now our next step is to go ahead and enlarge this hole. We need to enlarge this to 1 1/4 inches. Your best bet is to use a drill bit like this with steps. All right, now the reason why we drill this big hole out is for our hardware that will go in later. We're done for passenger side. Let's go over to your driver's side and do the same thing once again. All right, next we gotta go back to our bumper beam that we took off earlier. We gotta do some trimming on it. Now we're looking at the bottom edge. We're going to go ahead and remove all of that. We'll take a reciprocating saw and cut off our line. Okay, now we're going to do this trimming on both sides of the bumper structure. Now we get to do some more cutting yet. We're on the inside edge of our bumper cover, and we're looking at the driver's side. We need to remove this section right here. So we're just gonna, at its narrowest point, we'll go ahead and draw a line and cut through it. We're just using a utility knife to cut through the plastic. Then we'll go remove this screw right here. Break out your small screwdriver for this one. All right, now let's go to passenger side and repeat same process. Back on our driver's side, the surgery continues. We need to go ahead and remove these two vents as well. We're just gonna cut these down. We're gonna need to mark from the back side of the opening here. Okay, now you can cut this with a utility knife, but it's a lot thicker than the rest of the pieces we cut so far. So, time for a rotary tool. Okay, we're done for bumper cover. Let's go ahead and move back to the car. We need to loosen up the washer reservoir right here. So we're going to remove this plastic rivet, and then we'll go to the bottom and loosen up some fasteners there as well. We need to go ahead and remove the bottle. So we'll go ahead and disconnect the electrical. There's a small tab on the back side. You have to push. All right, now we need to go ahead and remove our hoses. When we take these off, the fluid's going to come out, of course. So we're going to use another piece of rubber tubing. Just push from one end to the other end to close it off. All right, now there's two other bolts that hold us in place. There's one here, and one on the back side. It's really hard to see. Okay, let's go ahead and work it loose. There's some electrical lines you have to undo as well, and a water line. And then move it out to the side. Now at this point, we can go ahead and install the base plate. Our car is ready. With the next set of hands, we'll go ahead and hold up into place and slide it onto the outside edge of the frame rails. We want this edge to be flush with this edge. We'll have it roughly in place, then we'll clamp it, and then we'll go ahead and maneuver it from there. So now we just got clamped loosely in position. We'll go ahead and make sure that this edge is flush with the top, and we'll just tap in as we need. Once you have the base plate sitting the way we want it, we'll go ahead and install our first bolt. Now this is one of the original bolts that we took out from the bumper that was on the side here. So we'll just go ahead and reinstall it. We'll put a drop of Loctite Red on there. Now the Loctite we're using is part number LT37420. Let's go ahead and run that down. Now there's no marks on the factory bolt to give you an idea of the type of bolt you're working with. So we'll just go ahead and run it down and get it hand tight. Basically, the rest of the bolts that we'll drill out next will be doing all the work. Now we'll use our hitch for a template to drill the rest of our holes. Let's go ahead and mark them. Also, to make your bit last longer, we'll go ahead and mark our holes first with our 13/32 drill bit and do a pilot hole, and then come back with our regular drill bit. Now we're going to move over to our driver's side, our mark and drill for our hole right here. Mark it with that bit, and then a pilot hole. With this hole drilled, we can go ahead and install some hardware to support our hitch here. We're going to take a nut plate, put it inside, bend it down into place, then run our 1.5 inch long bolt with a lock washer and some Loctite. And you can take your handle and bend it as you need it to make it fit. We got our hardware installed. We'll go ahead with our Loctite on the bolt as well. We need to go ahead and tighten it down for good. So we'll torque the bolt down as specified in the instructions. We'll go out and drill the 3 remaining holes for our driver's side. For holes drilled out, we'll go ahead and install our hardware for this hole here. This will be, once again, a 3/8 by 1.5 inch long bolt with a lock washer and the handle nut going to the inside. And of course some Loctite. We'll go ahead and tighten it down and torque it down to the amount specified in the instructions. At this point, we can go ahead and take off our clamps. Now we'll install our hardware for our holes in the top. Okay, it's going to be a 3/8 by 1 inch bolt. We're going to install it from the back side here. It's open so you can get access to it. The bottom of the frame is actually recessed in here so the bolt sits on top of it. You may have to drill out a little bit of angle to help get the bolt through as well. So our hardware will be a 1 inch by 3/8 bolt and some Loctite, and then a lock washer and a nut. And we can go ahead and tighten these bolts as well. Okay. So it looks like we got lucky in that the head of our bolts are touching the inside edge and holding it in place for us. Next, we'll go ahead and remove our handles. Seems to work best by just grabbing it with some side cutters, get a grip, and rock it back and forth. All our hardware is installed, and basically we'll go ahead and repeat the same process back on our passenger side. Okay, one last part we have to trim on our bumper before we install. According to our instructions, we'll measure about 3/8 of an inch over and go straight down. Now we can go ahead and put our bumper back onto place. Some clips on top that'll hold it for us while we install the hardware. Now we need to install our safety cables. This will go around the frame of the vehicle. In this case, we have easy access to it right here, and then to our convenience link on the base plate. That's a short distance. We might be able to get 2 laps around it. Then we'll use a quick link that comes with a kit to attach it all. Now to help keep these things rattling around, I might just go ahead and use a zip tie to take up some extra slack. We're done for driver's side. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the passenger side. Now this is going to be a little bit tighter fit because of the shroud for the radiator. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and start reassembly of our vehicle. We'll go ahead and put the bottle back for the windshield washer fluid. Let's also make sure we got our lines and the hoses clipped into the original spots. Okay, now we'll put our original bolt back in the location behind the bottle. Make sure no lines or wires are pinched. Now the one in the bottle gets the new bolt that comes with the kit. Okay, now in this location, it uses new hardware that comes with the kit. A new 6mm bolt, flat washer, and lock washer. Let's go ahead and redo our electrical. And let's go ahead and reinstall our lines. Okay, let's go ahead and reinstall our styrofoam piece. Okay. All right, now at this point we can go ahead and reinstall our bumper fascia. Chances are you may have to do some additional trimming after first attempt. Sometimes they'll go on just fine. With our bumper cover clipped into place without any hardware, we'll go ahead and reinstall the wiring for our lights. Okay. We'll go ahead and put our liner back into place. Okay, done on the passenger side. Let's do the same thing on the driver's side. Now at this point, we can go ahead and reinstall our fasteners for the bottom of the bumper fascia. Get the screws that go up in the fender well, one on each side. Then we'll go ahead and put the fasteners on top. All right, and finally, plastic fastener for the water bottle. So for our base plate fully installed, we'll go ahead and show you how attachment tabs work. Now there's a slot on the inside of a tube here that this will line up with. Typically it's going to be horizontal. So we'll push it in horizontally and push it till this spring collapses and then rotate it. And now it's locked in place and cannot be removed. Try the other side, show how it looks. And to remove it, just pull back on the ring and rotate it, and it comes apart. And when you're not using it, you can replace the tabs with the plastic caps. Okay, and with that, our base plate's fully installed, and that'll finish it for part number BX2252 from Blue Ox on our 2008 Honda Fit.